Thank you, Neil. We start off with news from the region. A far right candidate, Jair Bolsonaro, has won the first round of Brazil's presidential election. He will face the left wing Workers' Party candidate, Fernando Haddad, in the second round on October 28 after he failed to win the 50% of valid votes needed to win outright. With almost all the votes counted, Mr. Bolsonaro had 46% and Mr. Haddad 29%. Mr. Bolsonaro has pledged tough punishments for offenders and the relaxing of gun ownership. He has also spoken of torture as a legitimate practice and wants to restore the death penalty. Taxi and maxi drivers in Trinidad and Tobago switched off their engines on Monday in protest against rising fuel prices and poor road conditions. The drivers did not block the roadway but parked their vehicles at the taxi stands, leaving hundreds of commuters stranded. The Express reported that the Point Fortin San Fernando Taxi Drivers Association president, John David, said drivers were frustrated and called on the government to hear their cries. He said the deplorable road conditions were taking a toll on their vehicles, with a monthly maintenance bill of 2,000 TT dollars. At least 12 people died and almost 200 were injured after a powerful magnitude 5.9 quake struck Haiti on Saturday. The U.S. Geological Survey said the epicenter of the quake that struck late on Saturday was about 12 miles northwest of the city of Port-de-Paix. The magnitude 5.9 quake was one of the strongest to hit the Caribbean nation since a major tremor in 2010 killed more than 200,000 people. Internationally, Turkey's president has challenged Saudi Arabia to provide proof that a missing journalist has left its consulate in Istanbul. The writer Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi national, was last seen visiting the consulate on Tuesday. Earlier, Turkey requested a search of the building after saying that Mr. Khashoggi had been murdered within its walls, the BBC reported. Saudi Arabia has called the allegations baseless. Turkey said their investigators had concrete proof of the killing, which they said was carried out by a 15-person Saudi team who arrived in the country last week. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has previously said officials are welcome to conduct a search as there's nothing to hide. A limousine that crashed and killed 20 people had failed an inspection and should not have been on the road, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says. According to the BBC, Mr. Cuomo also told a news conference that the driver did not have the appropriate license for it. Two newlywed couples and four sisters, ranging in age from 30 to 35, are among the 20 people who died in Saturday's collision in New York State. Officials say the crash is the worst U.S. road tragedy in nearly a decade. U.S. President Donald Trump says the sex assault claims made against his new Supreme Court Justice, Brett Kavanaugh, were a hoax and all made up. The Republican president condemned Democratic calls to impeach the judge as an insult to the American people. The BBC reported that Justice Kavanaugh was confirmed by the Senate on Saturday in a 50 to 48 vote that followed strictly partisan lines. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Neil.